All right, let's dive into a mystery that's been hiding in plain sight for over 360 years, locked inside one of the most famous paintings in the world. It's a puzzle that has hooked artists and historians for centuries, and today we're going to try to crack it. But first, let's start with a question, a big one. Can an artist actually see their audience? I mean, can a painter or a performer really break through that fourth wall and look back at you? It's a funny thought. When television first showed up in Turkey, people were just blown away that they could see the famous singer Zeki Müren right there in their living rooms. But the very first question on everyone's mind was, will he see us too? It's such a human thing to ask. But here's the wild part. An artist actually answered this exact question 300 years before the television was even a dream. With nothing but oil, a canvas, and a serious stroke of genius, he figured out a way to make the person looking at his painting feel truly seen. And that brings us to the masterpiece at the heart of all this, Las Meninas, which means the Maids of Honor. So let's step inside. Okay, so picture this. It's 1656. We are in this huge grand room in the royal palace in Madrid. And at first glance, it just looks like a snapshot of royal life. Maybe a little chaotic, but pretty standard stuff. So who's actually in this room? Let's break it down. Your eye goes right to the little girl in the middle, the 6-year-old princess, Margarita Teresa. She's got her attendants, her meninas around her, plus some court entertainers and a very chill dog. But then look closer. You've got figures in the shadows, a chaperone and a bodyguard, and way in the back, there's a guy in a doorway who seems like he's either just arrived or is about to leave. It's a really busy moment, just frozen in time. But hold on, there's one more person in this room, and he's the one that makes this painting so audacious and totally revolutionary. Which makes you wonder, if this is a royal portrait, where's the king? Is it that tall guy on the left, the one with the brush and the palette? I mean, kings were famous patrons of the arts, right? So could he be painting his own family? It's a good guess, but nope. That man is the artist himself, Diego Velázquez, the official painter for King Philip IV's court. And this is where his boldness just shines. The king asks for a royal portrait, and Velázquez paints himself, not just in a corner, but larger than life, standing there confidently in front of this enormous canvas. Now, you might think this is just pure arrogance, right? But Velázquez, well, he could back it up. He was considered one of the absolute greatest painters to have ever lived. But just how brilliant are we talking? Well, think about this for a second. The one and only Pablo Picasso was so obsessed with this painting, so desperate to understand its genius, that he painted 58 different versions of it. 58, just trying to figure out its magic. That's the kind of legend Velázquez was. Okay, but the real mystery, the thing that's puzzled people for centuries, isn't about who we can see in the room. It's about who we can't see and where they're hiding. Just look at where Velazquez is staring. He's looking straight out of the painting. He's looking past the princess, past everyone. He is looking directly at us. We're looking in and he's looking out. It's like the philosopher Michel Foucault said, in this painting, the viewer suddenly becomes visible to the artist. So the big question is, who is he really looking at? Is it us, the viewers, centuries in the future? Or is there someone else in the room with us? The clue is hidden in plain sight. You just have to look past all the main action, all the way to the dark back wall of the room. See it? Among all those dark paintings, there's one frame that's kind of glowing. But wait a minute, that's not a painting. It's a mirror. And reflected in it are two faint figures, King Philip IV and the Queen. They're standing exactly where we are. We're not just looking at a painting, we're seeing the scene from the King and Queen's point of view. And that one little detail, it just completely shatters everything. This isn't just a flat picture on a wall anymore. Velázquez created something that feels, well, three-dimensional. This is why art historians just geek out over this painting. It has all these different layers of reality working at once. First off, you've got the real space, the room with the princess and everybody. Then you've got the pictured space, the other paintings hanging on the walls. Then there's the reflected space, the king and queen, who only show up in that mirror. And finally, the most mysterious layer of all, the unseen space. What in the world is on that giant canvas Velázquez is painting? So, what's he trying to say with all this? Well, there are two big theories. One idea is that it's all about art itself. By putting himself in the room with the royals, Velázquez is making a bold claim that an artist is a creator, an intellectual, who's just as important as a king. The other theory? It's a huge political statement. The Spanish Empire was starting to decline, so maybe putting the king and queen in a faint reflection while the young princess is front and center was his way of saying the old guard is fading and the future is with her. Which brings us right back to where we started, that intense, powerful stare from the artist himself. After all this time, the biggest question is still on the table. Who is this painting really about? Is it the little princess, the ghost-like king and queen in the mirror, or is it the guy holding the brush? Is Velázquez painting the royal couple? Is he somehow looking through time right at you and me? Or, and this is a fun one, maybe all these theories are too complicated. Maybe he's just looking into a giant mirror, painting the most ambitious and epic self-portrait of all time. And maybe that's the final, incredible message from this old masterpiece. By putting us, the viewer, right inside the royal room, Velázquez reminds us that art isn't just something we look at. Sometimes it looks right back. And maybe to really understand where we're going, we just need to see ourselves reflected in the eyes of the past.